What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Apocaflix now. I am back in the hosting seat. My internet is working again. Funny thing is, I don't know what's up with Comcast on Tuesdays. It went out earlier today, too. And I was like, no, don't do this. And then I came back home and it was back on. Anyways, I'm your host, Jacob Bartley. We have a three-man crew as of now. I'm sure Mr. Gio Ramos will be joining us shortly, and maybe we'll Keith Barnes is out of town this week.
He's on vacation.
Keith is on vacation.
So enjoy your vacation, Keith. I'm sure you'll watch this eventually. I will introduce the other two gentlemen joining me this evening. One of them is Brian Avalosino. How's it going, Brian?
I am doing swell. I'm enjoying the not melting hot weather. And yeah, about it.
Yeah,
I'm
88.
excited to see a movie.
Yeah,
this week.
Absolutely. Yeah, me too. 88 degrees is great for us, right? Like when it goes down to 88.
The last 2 days have been perfect. Keep it like this. Anymore, and I'm not happy.
Absolutely.
I have had the door open and just like chilling and living the dream as far as that. Anything else? No, thank you.
And Jake Berlin, how is the heat treating you, and how are you doing, man?
I'm doing okay today. I was telling you guys before we started, I had a very, very long day at work. One of the longest days I've had in quite a while. But I was having Brian test it out with me before I got going. I have a portable AC unit now.
Whoa,
So
nice.
my garage is no longer gonna. I mean, it's not like the 100 degrees we've had lately, but it's no longer gonna be that hot.
You can't even say 100. It's like 110.
Yeah.
Like,
and I don't know what's going on with my lighting, by the way. I look yellow. It's no different than it usually is, but whatever.
No, you don't.
So yeah, I look a little yellow compared to normal.
I was thinking my lighting looks better today, so that I'm sorry, Jake. But look at us, Brian.
You made your bed.
Well, I put a Grogu blanket on there, so I wasn't sure if we could see it, so it's pretty cool. Look at us complaining, Brian. We'll forget Jake's in a garage, like especially last week when it was crazy.
Fine. His garage is pretty nice. He's fine.
Well, I made it nice. Let's be real.
Yeah. I still need to check that out. So for those of you who don't know, we usually start the show with a segment called the Movie Watching Challenge, where one of us gets challenged to watch a movie each week. And there we go. There's our great sound effect.
You're like out of nowhere.
And great timing. Yes.
What? Are we talking about Jacob just going transition?
Yeah, but I guess I should be used to it by now, so that's okay.
Okay.
So we'll plan it now. For those of you who don't know, that's when it's coming up. There we go. From now on. I see a comment from somebody that I haven't seen in the chat before. I don't know if you guys are familiar with them.
I have not seen
sure.
Hello. Welcome.
Yes. Awesome. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. I'm guessing the Fast and Furious topic is what brought you on. So welcome. We'll be getting that getting to that shortly. So the movie watching challenge, Gio was challenged last week to watch Apocaflix Now, not to be confused with our show name. But he's not here at the moment. So we will discuss that with him either later on the show or another time. But I was challenged by Gio.
Are you drinking a Star Wars beer?
Yeah, it's my double IPA from Device in downtown.
Ooh.
It's called the Tropical Stormtrooper.
That looks cool.
Well, I thought I saw like the helmet, and I was like,
how is it?
It's amazing. And fun fact on this. So everybody support local breweries because they are the greatest thing on the planet Earth. Here in Sacramento, we are very blessed. Very blessed.
Jake busts his ass so he can support the local.
We are blessed with the plethora of breweries we have. But so this was originally dropped last year, and I was like super pumped to get it. It sold out in a day. It was gone.
Oh wow.
Like heartbeat. And so I bought 2 things of it this year, and I'm still slowly going through them.
Oh, is it seasonal?
It's like it's called a rare drop. Is what they'd say.
So it's like it's there when it's there.
They just kind of want to do it whenever they want to do it. And it happened a few months ago, and so I bought two things of them. I've been slowly going through them, but I'm crossing my fingers that it becomes a regular because the company itself doesn't have a lot of tropical stuff, and it's actually quite good. So
Awesome. Is it an IPA?
it's a double IPA.
Ooh, I do need to try that. I've been laying off the IPAs lately, but I do like to try new ones to see if they're good.
It's really good.
Yeah, so basically, we'll just get to me being challenged then for this part. So you guys all chose a movie for me. So I will go ahead and also put a poll up this week because I like to be tortured by the viewers and have them choose which movie I'm going to watch. So let's get to it, Brian.
All right, sir. This might be a pretty interesting poll for you, but the 4 movies, excuse me, I took an air too fast. The 4 movies that you have been challenged to are A Few Good Men. Isn't this the You Can't Handle the Truth movie?
You can't handle the truth.
Okay, so I've never
You
seen
got to
it.
say it right, Brian.
Okay, sorry. The second one is A League of Their Own. The third is Ready or Not.
Okay.
And the fourth is Cape Fear.
I see what you're talking about now, Brian. We've seen these in rotation a few times, but hey, I want to watch all of those movies. Those all look great. So if whichever ones win, I'm totally fine with that.
Did you notice they finally fixed the transitions? It went straight to the other image without showing this one first.
Oh, that's cool.
Did you notice it? See, like, watch. Remember how it used to like break back to ours first?
I think so.
But
so many times I've been like, all right, I'm gonna watch a movie tonight, and I'm like, I'm gonna watch Ready or Not, and it's one of the movies that my girlfriend has seen and I haven't. So so I'm like, hey, let's watch Ready or Not. She's like,
you can't let that happen, bro.
And she's like, I've already
You're
seen
the last
that.
one.
I know,
4 of us,
right? Out of everybody that I know. But yeah, so I'm like, let's watch it. And she's like, I already seen that. And I'm like, okay, well, we got to watch something else then.
I'm here just for fun. I always like to know, who do you think picked what?
Keith chose Cape Fear. Jake chose A League of Their Own. Ready or Not is Brian, and A Few Good Men is Gio. I'm not looking at your faces, so those are my guesses.
Fair enough.
Interesting.
Yep, but we're gonna try to mix it up and add some new movies in here going forward, so that should be fun. But yeah, go please vote on the poll. Jake, let them know when it will be up.
It'll be up tomorrow morning. It'll be
Okay.
up. No, it'll be up. I'm currently doing something else that's important for the show, so it'll
Jake
be up.
had an 11-hour workday, and he's still working right now, so it'll be up tomorrow morning for sure. So go ahead and vote on that and decide what I'm going to be watching this weekend. So we do have a few shows to tell you guys about. Should I just go ahead and let them know about them?
Yeah, go ahead.
Awesome. So if you haven't checked out the other 2 shows that we got going on here at Apocaflix Movies, the first one is Marvel Rewind. Well, we are currently reviewing Loki, the first season of Loki, and we'll be talking episode 3 coming up here this week on Wednesday
It's tomorrow.
Oh yeah. Oh my goodness. I was so confused. I was trying to think, like, when do I get to watch Loki? And I get to watch Loki tonight at midnight if I can stay up. I've been so tired lately. Started working early mornings again. So we'll see if I can stay up for Loki this time around. But regardless, we will be reviewing it at 7:30 p.m. tomorrow on Wednesday, Pacific Standard Time. So come by for Marvel Rewind and you'll get a full in-depth spoiler discussion on Loki episode 3. Also, if you've been watching The Bad Batch on Disney Plus, the Star Wars animated show, spinoff of the Clone Wars, we've been reviewing that every Friday on the Fandalorian Club. You can come check us out there. We review the episodes every Friday, and I have no idea what episode number we're on, but we will be talking the newest episode this Friday, episode 9, and I am so ashamed because the week that I decide to like not be on Fandalorian Club anymore, they have the best damn episode other than maybe the premiere. Like, I love that episode, guys, just so you know. It was a great episode. But I definitely I'm going to try to get on whenever I can. But yes, check us out, the Fandalorian Club. On Friday, we'll be talking the newest episode of The Bad Batch for sure. And we're going to be talking Luca, the new animated Pixar film, currently on Disney Plus. It is not Premiere Access. I actually thought it was Premiere Access at first. So I was like, all right, I'm just going to wait to buy it or maybe go see it in theaters. But what do you know? It was released straight onto Disney Plus. We'll be talking a full spoiler review about that coming up shortly. But before we get to that, we do have a little piece of news that we're going to talk about, and I'll throw it to Jake to tell us what that is.
Yeah, we this wasn't originally in the plan today, but about 2 hours ago, I know there's some kind of event going on somewhere in the world, and the Transformers franchise just blew the doors open on what their plan is, and more specifically, their next film. A whole bunch of details were revealed, and yes, the Transformers movies aren't always the best movies as far as films go, but they are some of the biggest blockbusters we have ever. They make a butt ton of money, and they are capable of bringing a lot of cool things to the screen. And so we knew for a while that Creed 2 director Stephen Caple Jr. was going to be taking over the next movie, Transformers 7. No title, no details, anything like that. But today we got an official title, some details, some story beats, and the official title of Transformers 7 is Transformers Rise of the Beasts. It is titled Rise of the Beasts, and that is implying that it is going to be based on a storyline that I have been wanting to see on screen for quite some time, and that is Beast Wars.
Not as long as me.
If you know what Beast Wars is, it's going to be absolutely crazy. So a couple other things were also announced as far as the movie goes. It's going to be set in New York, specifically Brooklyn, in 1994. So a little bit after the Bumblebee setting, which is going to be which was originally in the 80s. And some of the movie will also take place in Peru, kind of going outside of the U.S. as most of the movies do. And it stars, where are they? Right here. So there's a character named Noah, played by Anthony Ramos, and if you know who Anthony Ramos is, he was just in The Heights for HBO. He was the lead actor in that film, and he's playing a character called Noah, living with his mom and his brother after serving in the military. He's a father figure after trying to get back on his feet after the military. Described as a genius when it comes to electronics, who is also said to have a heart of tenacity. And then the co-lead is Dominique Fishback, who plays a character from Brooklyn, and she works at a museum of artifacts, and she's trying to break the glass ceiling at work, but her boss keeps taking credit for all the work she does, and described as a sophisticated thinker. So those are your two leads, but the big part here, and if you know what Beast Wars is, this is where the Beast Wars comes into play. It's not just Autobots and Decepticons. We have 3 other factions of Transformers joining the fight in this movie. We have the Predacons, we have the Maximals, and we have the Terrorcons. 3 giant factions in the Transformers world, which puts 5 sides of the Transformers universe up against one another. Tons of characters from cartoons, comic books, all that stuff have been announced as coming to the big screen. I'm not going to bring them up because there's a lot of them and they're not that well known, but the biggest part is the movie will in fact focus on Optimus Prime. But it's going to be Optimus Prime before we kind of knew him as Optimus Prime. It was said in the announcement today that the movie will kind of shift him into the Optimus Prime that we knew when the first Transformers rolled around. And the biggest and last detail I can say is that the director had said that the climax of the film is one of the biggest things they have done in a Transformers movie, leading a lot of people to believe that all 5 factions of Transformers will essentially be in a Transformers war at the end of the film, which is exactly what we've been wanting for a very, very long time. So Transformers, Rise of the Beasts, Beast Wars, Optimus Prime, 1994. What are we thinking, guys? This could be a nice shift for this franchise.
This is crazy. So basically, I mean, I read it in the notes when earlier today, but like that full detailed description is my first time hearing it. And I am not the biggest Transformers fan. I don't know a lot about Transformers. Like before you just said that, I thought the Decepticons and the two ones were the only ones that existed. And to hear all this stuff is pretty cool. Of course, I watched Transformers when I was a kid, and I had some of the toys, but I was never like super, super into it. So still learning. But I just rewatched Bumblebee on Sunday, ironically.
Great movie.
And yes, great movie directed by Travis Knight. And it honestly, it's my favorite Transformers movie. The first one is really good too, but those two are top notch as far as the franchise goes. And it seems like, so Bumblebee, they kind of went a little smaller, right? And it seems like they're kind of going right back to making a big movie, which as long as it's good, that's all I care about. And
yeah, that's fair.
I think it's cool that, you know, I forget the guy's name, the actor that you named, but he's obviously he was in The Heights, and he's going to be
the only one that's seen that.
Yes, at the moment.
I haven't seen it yet. I want to watch it though. And I really like, I've seen him in other stuff before, and I really like him. So I'm glad he's getting the opportunity rather than like some big movie star like Mark Wahlberg, you know? So that's pretty cool. And it's weird. They're kind of doing like, the humans are like the secondary, they kind of always been the secondary part, but they focused on Haley Steinfeld and her family in the first one. And they're not even probably ever, we're never going to see them again, I don't think. And now we're going to see these new human characters. And maybe the next one will be a different set of human characters in the 90s or something. So this is really cool. It feels like an event film, though, honestly, like as far as Transformers go. So as we've seen Transformers movies where it's just a bunch of action with no like story ramifications, I hope if there is like a big battle at the end like that, that there's something at stake that we care about as viewers. As long as there's story elements that we care about, this could be really, really fun. And of course, Michael Bay's not directing, so I liked Creed 2. It wasn't great, but I really liked it, so I'm optimistic about it for sure. And we saw Travis Knight direct a small film, do a Transformers movie. Great job. And we've seen this guy direct a smaller film and then go on to Transformers. So I'm excited, honestly.
To answer Nussbaum's comment real quick, Nussbaum, Bumblebee was set in the 80s, late 80s. Mm-hmm. This is early 90s, so it definitely is
for
in
sure.
that world. And they haven't said at this point that none of these movies are like out of canon order, etc. And so they're all taking place in the same timeline from what we understand. So
that's funny that you brought that up, because as far as I want, they should just completely start a whole new.
I agree. I wish Bumblebee was the start of it all. I totally agree.
I think Bumblebee should be the start. This is the second one. And forget about the other five. The other five, the first one's great. Cool. But the way they started Bumblebee, that was I loved that movie. That was a fantastic movie. Way better than probably 90% of the other Transformers movies outside of the first one. So I kind of hope that they just start a whole new. And if they see that this is successful, just say, oh, that was old canon or something. I don't know, whatever you want to call it.
No, that's fine.
Because so far, it's been great. I'm loving the new stories that we're getting from it. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, anyways, Optimus from Bumblebee is different from him coming in the other five. It's been so long since I've watched the Transformers movies.
Well, see, that's we don't know because it's so far in the past.
Yeah. And they never really came out and said, right?
It's like 25 years in the past compared to when the original came out. And like Jacob said, they never really like said yes or no. And he was only in the beginning of the movie. He was only so for all we know.
And so I'm fine with them. I would actually prefer them to start a whole new like wash those 5 and start a whole new
I
Transformers.
don't think there's anything in Bumblebee that confirms that they are connected to the other 5, unless I'm mistaken.
I don't think they say a single word about anything.
Yeah.
So Jesse,
I think
tell us if it is.
we see in the first one, right? We see like them landing on Earth or whatever, and then we see that again in Bumblebee. So we don't know. Maybe they arrived twice at different parts, possibly.
Yeah.
And then we do see. So Optimus Prime is on Earth at the end of Bumblebee. We assume he's riding off with Bumblebee. So yeah, I mean, I kind of, can we just pretend Bumblebee's the start of a
That's what I'm
reboot,
saying.
even if it's not?
I think you're going to be hard pressed to find more people against a reboot than you would for, personally. I mean,
I agree. I agree.
I mean, I think out of the 3 of us, 3 for 3 on starting anew.
For sure, yeah.
Yeah, I'm down. Keep it out of Michael Bay's hands, where the whole entire movie is just explosions. Focus more on the robots and not the humans. And I think it'll be fantastic. The main actor, the one from In the Heights, he's awesome. He's absolutely is In the Heights like my favorite movie of all time? No. Was it a great movie? Absolutely. Wasn't my type of movie, but it, for what it is, it's a fantastic movie. And he is a very large part of that reason. To the point where afterwards I was like, man, I really kind of hope we see this guy a lot more. And then, hello.
Boom, here you go.
It's like, here's Transformers.
Anthony Ramos. We got to remember his name. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, I'm, to be honest, like, I was kind of like, oh, cool. Like, another Transformers movie. Like, it's about kind of time. Heard his name and I was like, oh, okay. That's a really good casting. So like I kind of dig that casting more than, honestly, like the whole story. I mean, yeah, Beast Wars is going to be freaking awesome, but like they have a solid person to be that human element. So I just hope they don't like grab your prototypical, like, here's John Cena, here's The Rock.
I kind of think that
and whoever, and I'll tell you what character it's going to be when they put that in. It's going to be that person that you said is stealing the ideas from the girl, for the boss.
Oh, yeah.
That'll be your John Cena, Vin Diesel, whatever role.
100%. I kind of think that, I guess it's a think and a hope that the humans won't be as big of a factor as we are usually used to. I've been saying this for a long time, and I don't know when it's going to happen, but it needs to happen. I know it's not this movie, but Transformers is a large enough universe to where you don't need a human element. It's not like Godzilla and Kong, right? Where you can't just have the monsters in the entire time. These characters talk. They talk. And I understand that it would be a crap ton of money to have them in every single shot. I get that. But at some point, I think that there needs to be a movie about Transformers where it's just strictly Transformers.
The Cybertron War.
Yeah, duo. And those video games, by the way, are effing awesome. Yeah, they are awesome. Great. The War of Cybertron and Fall of Cybertron are incredible. If they're leading to that, great, awesome. I would love to see it. It's just, I have a feeling that the human characters might be in it enough to a point to where all of this is going to happen on Earth per usual. I want to see the Autobots, the Decepticons, the Terrorcons, all these factions fight on Cybertron.
So Cybertron,
a separate planet,
gets destroyed, right? That's the whole reason they go to Earth.
Yeah, it's very. That's why I said Krypton, because it's very similar.
Yeah, exactly.
It would need to be before Bumblebee. They showed it. It would need to tell that whole story into Bumblebee, essentially. because they
That's true,
showed it.
because
And that was
obviously
like the
we
coolest
see it
part
at
of
the
the whole damn
beginning.
movie.
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
I
I mean,
don't
it
know
could
about
be
you.
set on another planet, I guess, in this universe. You know,
Good.
maybe for some reason they're like, we can't stay on Earth. We have to find a new home or something, and it could be something like that.
That's possible.
But I think they definitely could do the Cybertron war thing. You've been saying that for years, Jake. I remember you haven't.
It's just, it needs to happen at some point. It really does. Like it. And I try to come up with the idea of, like, I try to think of franchises that I can compare it to, right? That have beings that talk, and everyone so far has a human factor. The one that I tried to focus on the most was the Planet of the Apes, the most recent Planet of the Apes. As like, we had a human factor, but the apes were the 90 percentile focus of those films, and they weren't talking half the time.
Well,
They weren't talking, and so these characters physically talk. They have lives. They work. When war isn't happening, they have jobs. Like, there's a military. There's a science program. There's all of these things. They're a total race of beings that you could easily focus on in a movie. Easily.
Yeah, there's no reason why you can't do that. Like, if you had all the money in the world, like, there's no reason. Like, it would be weird if Godzilla or King Kong was be like, "Hey, I'm gonna go fight that guy."
Yeah.
If they started talking, you'd be like, "What?" But like, these guys talk. They have their human.
Well, the closest thing I can think of is the Lion King remake.
Yeah.
They basically did this with that, and there's no human characters, you know.
But
and those are all animals talking. You know, it's all people try to debate, like, is it really live action or is it just a CGI film? You know, so that's kind of what this would be.
It just makes me wonder. Like, I'm sure it's a big reason, but outside of money, like, what is stopping them from doing that?
I'm not the only one. I haven't been the only one saying this for like a while. Like,
but I mean, like,
so the argument that people pose is that the reason they put humans in these stories is because the general audience, like, they have to have that human connection, like that relatability to, like, this is happening on Earth. This is happening to humans. That's the argument. I'm not saying I agree with that. I'm just saying that's the argument that people pose when it comes to that. And I think studios think that you have to have human characters in these movies. Because think about any movie where it's not about the humans, right? Like, the humans aren't the main focus, like the Apes movies, Transformers. They always have human characters in them. And they try to give them a full story with love interest and all this stuff. I used to be like, you have to have some human element, but I'm kind of leaning towards what you guys are saying is, like, you can totally do a movie as long, like I said, give us a great story. It doesn't matter if there's humans in it or not.
Yeah. It just, I mean, if you need humans, put them at the beginning of the movie. Say, like, have Optimus Prime telling a story, and it's the story of why they fled Cybertron. Because as far as I'm concerned, the only thing I've ever heard fans want is a Cybertron movie.
Yeah.
The destruction of Cybertron.
You know what they would do, though? They would find a way to have humans on Cybertron somehow. I bet you they would.
Yeah, and that would be totally against what
don't
we
need
want.
it. You don't need it.
Yeah.
It's like it's and I know this is a wild comparison, but it's kind of like, to me, like, if we're saying, like, you need humans in it, it's kind of like when studios have to have an English version of a movie. You don't have to have an English version of the movie. The movie can just be as good as it is, just with subtitles.
Yep.
It's just something, it's kind of like that. It's just annoying. Like, I mean, you don't see them remaking Parasite because it had subtitles.
That was the first movie I was thinking of, because, like, I watched it in its original language, and I wouldn't even want to see it dubbed English version of it. It wouldn't be the same at all. Yeah.
So it's just, I think it's just a stupid excuse that is getting old, and but
it's exhausting that it hasn't happened yet. We're 7 movies in it hasn't happened yet.
Yeah. The fact That's exactly the fact that we are 7 movies into this franchise, and it wasn't until the last movie that we've even seen anything from it. And it was a what? 5 to 10 minute clip.
What was the one thing that, and I know that Bumblebee is a great movie, but what was the one thing people were talking about the most coming out of that movie?
The negative thing?
No,
no. Okay.
The opening of the movie.
Yeah.
Opening,
Like, we literally finally saw Cybertron. Like, finally saw Cybertron.
With the perfect voice acting of Dylan O'Brien as Bumblebee.
We just see it needs to happen. It needs to happen.
Yes, with no Michael Bay, Brian. Agreed. No Michael Bay. Keep him away with it.
Agreed.
But I'm excited.
I think he has a forever producer credit on Transformers, but he doesn't even work on them, though.
No, I just looked it up.
Or I don't think he worked on Bumblebee. Who knows if he worked on Bumblebee, but
he's the very last person listed right now under
he'll always be, just because he was so involved. But like, it's like Steven Spielberg with most of his producer credits. He's like actually doesn't do anything.
Yeah, I'm excited. I know a lot of people, what they've wanted was this Beast Wars storyline. Jake's been saying it for years, and hopefully it lives up to the expectations. And I hope, honestly, like, part of me hopes that the title of it means that we'll see more than just one movie of it.
So I wanted to bring that up quickly before we do move on. I think, and I got to say this too, I am sick and tired of titles having the word rise in it. Like, get
Rise
the word,
Planet
like,
of the Apes.
it's right. Like, it's not that cool of a word, everybody. It's not. But anyway.
Yeah, stop being
I agree
right.
with you 100%. They need to stop putting that in.
I hope that this is either a set of movies or like 2 movies or 3 movies or whatever. Of course, what I say with every franchise is I want them to focus on one. If it's successful, go to the next one. If it doesn't work, move on to something else. Just make a good single story. Don't rely on it having a sequel. Not everything needs to have an open ending. Like, it doesn't need to have an open ending. Anyway, I know it doesn't coincide, but I really hope to God that it's Rise of the Beasts, War of Cybertron, Fall of Cybertron. Like, I think that'd be so effing fire if they did that on screen. The first movie had humans and everything else, no humans. Hasbro, hire me, please.
Well, Hasbro.
So basically, they would have to eliminate Bumblebee from canon then if they did that, right?
Wow.
Not necessarily.
They would just go back in time.
Wasn't Cybertron destroyed?
They would just have to go back in time. It'd be a prequel.
Time travels over every movie, so why not?
Prequel.
Oh, hey, there we go. Time travel Transformers movie. There we go.
Great.
Or a prequel, whatever.
Yeah. That's what we need. What's next?
All right. Well, unless you guys have any other thoughts, we'll go ahead and move on. We do have our 4th member here, Gio Ramos. What is going on, Gio? How you doing, man?
What's up? I, for whatever reason, thought we start at 7:30, and my brother was like, "Hey, it's 7:20. Don't you start?" I was like, "No." I was like, "Oh shit!"
Yeah, your brother commented in the chat at 6:45, so he knows the time. I do that sometimes too, Gio. Honestly, because it was the old 7:30 was the old time, so sometimes I think it's 7:30. I'm like, wait, no, it's 7. So.
We'll say you sound better. You don't sound sick anymore.
Yeah, I spent the weekend. I had Claritin for breakfast and Tylenol for dinner. So, yeah, it was a very chill weekend spent indoors. So,
very nice.
I got a lot of work done, so that's good. So.
That's what you got to do when you're not feeling well. All right, Gio. So we're up to. We just had our Transformers discussion, but we missed your thoughts on Apocalypse Now. So we'll go ahead and jump to that and. Go ahead, man. This is the movie you were challenged to. I forget who chose. Jake chose this movie, correct? Yes.
Jake.
And
not me.
I have not seen it. Brian hasn't seen it. So I'll leave it to you, Gio. What'd you think, man?
Oh, you boys need to watch this movie ASAP, okay? Because when you watch this movie, you're going to see things and you're going to be like, oh my God, so many movies were inspired by this movie. And, just incredible. First, let me just say, last week I said Oliver Stone directed this. Oliver Stone wished he directed this. Okay, it was Francis Ford Coppola, and what else did I say? I said Charlie Sheen was in this movie. It's actually his dad, right? Martin Sheen in
Martin
this movie.
Sheen, yes.
Yeah.
I think you were thinking of a different movie, right?
I think I was thinking of Platoon.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I saw this movie on Amazon Prime, and I'm thankful I did, because there is a lot of familiar faces. Well, not familiar faces, familiar names in this movie. And throughout the movie, I kept pausing, because when you pause on Prime, it shows the cast, and I'm like, oh my god, that's Lawrence Fishburne. Oh my god, that's Robert Duvall. And then, of course, Marlon Brando, who doesn't have a role quite as big as I thought, but man, he is so incredible in this movie. Like, such a philosophical character. And the whole time, they are like talking about him, and they're making his anticipation. I mean, they're making his debut in the movie see more and more and more and more bigger. And man, when he is on screen, he is just a force, man. But okay, so Apocalypse Now came out in 1979, so 89, 99, 2009, 2019, over 40 years ago. And I kept asking myself, like, okay, like, because for me, I think this movie is a freaking masterpiece. Like, I want to watch it again, and I want to see the other versions of this movie, because I heard there's like 2 or 3 different versions of it. And it caught me from the first scene. It lets you know right away what kind of movie this is gonna be. Okay, like, this one doesn't hold back. Okay, it doesn't, like, I don't know. You know how sometimes movies, they like over dramatize things, or like do it for entertainment. Not in this case. Francis Coppola said, this movie's not about Vietnam. This movie is Vietnam. And I'm talking about the Vietnam War. And it just, you see this journey through the eyes of Martin Sheen's character, and, everything that, he witnesses, from soldiers, spending too much time over there during that. I mean, it's one of the deadliest wars for the U.S., if not the deadliest. And you see that through the soldiers in this movie. I mean, they just they're losing their minds. Some of them don't know why they're here, and it's a very uncomfortable movie, but one absolutely worth watching. It's impossible to talk about this in just 5 minutes. Okay, I will say, for the past hour and 10 minutes, hour and 15 minutes, I kept replaying Ride of the Valkyries over and over and over again, because it's so well done in this movie. Like, I thought back to Zack Snyder and Watchmen, and how Dr. Manhattan's walking through the Nam War, and I'm like, oh, that's where he got it from. And it's just an incredible piece of film that you guys absolutely have to watch. And I'd be curious what your thoughts are. Standouts: Robert Duvall's character. I love the smell of napalm in the morning. I'm like, oh
Best
my
line,
God,
the best line from the whole movie.
crazy.
Best line from the whole movie.
Yeah. And Marlon Brando as Kurtz. Okay, like I said, he is talked about throughout the movie, and then when you finally see him, it's not a straight up reveal. The way Francis Coppola, has these shots of Marlon Brando, like, and the lighting of it, he is a character in this movie. He is insane in the best way possible. I love this movie. Jake, thank you so much for recommending it. I thought Saving Private Ryan was the best war movie, and I don't even know if you can call this a war movie, but no. Apocalypse Now makes Saving Private Ryan look like the little brother who tries hard. No disrespect. Saving Private Ryan's is amazing, but Apocalypse Now, wow. Watch it, guys.
Where's our
horror.
pew?
Oh my God.
I think Gio doesn't get very excited on the show very much unless it's DC or Zack Snyder. and that was the most raved he's ever talked about anything on this show outside of that. So
I feel like that might be the most loved challenged watch along.
This movie deserves
might be,
its
to be
own
honest.
Apocaflix now to talk about, because it's just I'm blown away. Okay, I'm blown away. I hear there's a 4K version that came out in 2019 or something, 2020. I need to own that. I need to own it. And you guys, if you haven't seen this movie, if there was one movie that you need to watch in your lifetime just once, it's this movie. There is so much in this movie to love. And I kept thinking, I kept trying to think, because you know me, I'm like, no movie's perfect. And I'm like, okay, maybe the action in the movie, the stunts, the action set pieces are a little bit dated. But then I'm like, wait a minute, this is way before CGI. Everything that I'm seeing, all the explosions and whatnot, it's all real. And it's scary, but it's glorious. So Apocalypse Now, absolutely recommend.
It's on my scratch off board, so I guess
it's an all-timer. It's an all-timer.
Wow. Yeah.
I never wanted to watch a movie immediately after the podcast.
I know, I'm kind of the same.
Like I was like, if Gio, like, because that's a genuine reaction to that movie, and if you're that hyped about it, like
I will say this, Brian, it's probably not for you.
Why? For what reason?
It is slower.
Oh, yeah.
It's a flat out story. The Francis Ford Coppola is telling a story with the finest of filmmaking. That isn't your jam.
Damn it. Okay.
And let me tell you,
but
this
I will
movie-
say this. I will say this.
Yeah.
I would love for you to try it, because it is one of the most beloved films of all time. Period.
No, I know.
I would love for you to try it.
I mean, they used a clip, or they used a part of the movie in Star Wars. So I mean,
Oh, a young Harrison Ford, like, and I was listening
he's
to
in
an
this?
interview.
Yep.
He came straight from Star Wars to this role right here, and man, like, so many recognizable names, and then you find out who they are, and like, wow, they are so young. Yes, Apocalypse Now. So
It's hard to say now that we are Apocaflix. It is very hard to say that Apocalypse Now. It's tough.
It really, because your brain just starts automatically wanting to say
Yeah.
Apocaflix.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But Brian, I'll say, like, don't let that discourage you. I don't think any movie is a waste of time. Like,
No,
it doesn't
no,
matter. No. So, like, even if it's not something
Artemis
you
Fowl is pretty bad.
Just Batman v Superman. That's it.
Why?
you're right, the
Why?
theatrical version, but the Ultimate Edition is.
well, I'll say the idea of watching any movie is not a waste of time. Maybe you feel like it is afterwards. That's a possibility. But I will say, like, even if you don't enjoy it, you gain something from it, in my opinion, no matter what. So, I mean, I'm going to watch it.
Speaking the truth.
I'm going to watch it. So, probably immediately after this podcast, if I can.
highly.
Hey, I'll watch it afterwards. It'll keep me up until Loki. Boom. There we go. That works.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. And man, dude, so many. I look at Kong Skull Island differently now. I'm like, wow, that was heavily inspired by this movie.
Sure was.
Jesus, man.
All right, we do got to move on, gentlemen. We do got to.
No, I'm just basking in, like, the reaction to Gio.
Yeah,
But that is awesome. That is awesome. I'm so glad to hear that you like it.
Gio, just go now, so we just get happy. Gio, just have a good night, man.
Hey, maybe his endorphins are flowing from talking about the movie. Maybe it'll last us another
start
45
coming
minutes.
Just start coming at 7:30 more often.
Gio needs to stay because I need his hot takes for Fast and the Furious.
That's true.
That's gonna be fun.
In my opinion, he is
Luca.
the Furious guy.
It's because I'm wearing a sleeveless shirt. Like,
Yeah, it's definitely Jake and Gio are the Fast and Furious guys. Absolutely. We are gonna rank those movies, do a tier ranking, but let's talk some Luca spoiler review.
Yeah, guys, this Disney Pixar film is the first to come out that is not premiere access. If you did not know it came out,
No, it's not. Second, Soul.
What was the first? Oh, you're right. Soul with Jordan
Yeah,
Peele.
that's right. It was a
That's
while
right.
ago.
And I was like, really?
Well, I got mixed up because Raya was premiere, Soul was
Yeah.
like it's just whole.
Like, how do they decide which ones are?
Well, so here's the fun fact: the two movies that weren't premiere access are Pixar. Raya was just Disney. And so now we know that going forward. Yeah, Cruella as well. Yes, correct. But yeah, anyway, if you did not know that it came out, Luca is officially out on Disney Plus. If you have the streaming service, here's the little poster of it. If you do not know what Luca is all about, it is about what they call sea monsters in the movie who live beneath an Italian city. And it's about a young boy who wants to venture out and become someone else. And these sea monsters, when they breach the surface, they become human unless they are touched by water. And it's a really interesting story between two young friends as they kind of adventure through this Italian city. And the young boy gets to open his eyes to the world and everything like that. We all watched it, all four of us. First time in a while, the four of us have watched the movie together. We're going to review together. So I just want to start with general thoughts. General thoughts before we kind of get anything specific. Anybody want to kind of start us off a little bit?
Well, let me just say real quick. I mentioned this yesterday. Like, this was such a weird double feature to have. I mean, to go from a movie like Apocalypse Now to Luca, it's just But I mean, okay. Somebody.
Oh, Brian was talking.
Sorry.
Oh, that's right. Starger's right. It is the third. Onward was the first.
No, Onward released in theaters first.
Oh, that's right. It
was Onward. Onward was in that weird. It came out in the beginning of March,
right.
so 2 or 3 weeks after it released,
right.
It dropped on Disney Plus because of the pandemic.
Yeah,
because I saw it in theaters.
That's right. I loved this movie. I think I was talking to my mom about it. I think I had more personal connection to it because I'm Italian. And so there were so many like things that like I grew up with that was played out in this movie, or things happened that I grew up with that was played in this movie. Songs that I grew up with at my grandparents' house that were played in this movie. So like, I loved it. I called my mom immediately that day and was like, you need to watch this. You're going to think this is the cutest movie ever. And there are certain movies that have more of an, like, they're not the best movie in the world, but they have more emotional ties. And this is 100% one of those movies for me. I can equate this to Lady Bird. Lady Bird is one of the ones that I will love forever because I'm from I live in Sacramento, and that whole movie takes place grew up Italian. They played with stereotypes, but not in an offensive way. It was more funny. Like, they had certain things that I was just like, oh my God, that's so true. And yeah, I loved this movie so much. Next.
I'll go ahead. So typically, like, I'm usually like loving these Pixar movies and coming out very like positive about them. I'm mixed on this movie. I am. And Brian, I mean, I'm not Italian. I didn't grow up with anything Italian culture, but I actually took an Italian film class in college. And this movie is essentially an homage. Well, it's a ton of things, but it's an homage to Italian cinema as well. It plays absolutely all of the old school Italian films. What is the end? I forget what the end is, but they all say that at the end of the movie.
Finn.
Yeah.
Which
and
is
then
ironic
like
because
the style of the film, because I watched like 15 Italian films in that class, classic ones, and the style of the film is very much like follows those things. Like, and those are all live action movies for the most part.
Yeah.
Also, that some of the stuff that goes on in this movie is like pretty like, whoa, like just like crazy stuff going on. Like, they randomly go into like these daydreams, right? and they're like doing these crazy things in these daydreams. And like, I could see as a viewer, like maybe it's like, whoa, that's just so random. But a lot of Italian movies would do stuff like that. Like there was this one movie we watched where they're like riding bikes in the sky in the movie. And I'm like, okay, so this director, he's Italian, and he was very influenced by that stuff. And I appreciated all that stuff. Animation was beautiful. I love I guess you can call it mythology of the sea monsters, like how, even though they didn't really explain it, that's fine. They come out of the water. They're human. All that stuff was cool, but I just don't think for me as a story, it worked. Like I didn't love the story. Like I wasn't like, oh my goodness, like what's going to happen next? I wasn't enthralled the whole time, but I did enjoy it. Like it's a beautiful movie. I just don't, I think I was expecting a little bit more, but it's a good movie. I just wasn't blown away by it, to be honest.
Gio?
Well, let me just first say, Brian, that's pretty awesome where you're coming from with this movie. I like that. And okay, so this movie came out a week ago. My 2-year-old niece has been watching it nonstop ever since it came out. Okay.
Nice.
And so I had seen parts of this movie throughout the week. And then when I found out we were actually going to talk about it, I was like, okay, I need to sit down and watch it. And I did. And let me say, it's a very solid Pixar movie. I put it up there with Cars, and I'm pretty high on Cars. In case we ever do a tier ranking of Pixar movies, that'd be fun. But I love the messages that this movie talks about, which we'll get into. The animation is actually some of the most beautiful work I've seen in a Pixar movie. I love what they captured with Italy, and I've never been to Italy. I've only seen it in movies. I would love to go someday. Again, with the comedy, it's great as well. There's definitely some highlights in here. And as far as the story goes, I'll say it's a little bit by the numbers. Like I've seen it before, but I mean that's not really a complaint that much. But in the end, it's a solid movie. Silencio Bruno. I love that line.
Yeah, that was great.
That is a great
That
message
was great.
right there, and so important too. Yeah. So
So it actually, I have never processed a movie like I've never processed a Pixar movie like I have Luca.
Really? Wow.
It did take me a bit to kind of like not wrap my head around it, but just sit back and think about it. So I watched it last night. I was able to kind of find some time, and with the quiet house, the dogs were finally dead asleep, and it was amazing. I just watched the movie, and I enjoyed a movie for the first time in a while, just by myself and in the pitch black, not having to worry about anything.
Not pitch black. You had your underwater theme going. I
had my lights going. Yeah, you're right.
I will say that
Lucky.
was the first time that I was like really like, oh damn, that probably.
We should have just all went to Jake's and watched it.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, that probably would have, like, it had the cool colors for like Kong and stuff, but I was like, the underwater is actually pretty dope.
It was fire. Anyway, yeah. So I think the reason why I was thinking about it so much is because if you rewatch the movie, it is the most simple story Pixar has ever done.
Absolutely.
I think I was caught off guard by that, honestly.
It is the most simple, quiet story. And what I mean by that is there's not a lot of settings. It takes place in very, very few settings. There is hardly ever any music in the background, which makes it a very quiet film. Although the score is brilliant. There's very little music going on in the background outside of the big scenes with the Vespa rides and all that type of stuff, right? The water stuff, because it's magical, etc. So it's an extremely different approach to a Pixar film than what we're used to. Because the Pixar films are usually very vibrant and emotional, and they have this really giant personality to them. I'm not saying this doesn't, but it takes an extremely different approach than what we are used to. And what I appreciate about it so much is that it's getting us prepared for what Pixar is going into this isn't the first of its kind. We are going to be seeing so many more movies like this that are focused on these kind of cultures going forward from Pixar. This is going to be the new norm. Pixar goes in these phases of films where they do sequels, they do originals. Now they're going into cultures. That's what they are doing. And so we're starting with Luca. We're getting a small story about a young boy who is this.
Well, you could say Coco was maybe the first one of those.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. Very, very true. But this one and I'm just, for the lack of a better term, I'm going to say that they're mermaids. I know it's not what they're called, but I'm just going to say they are mermaids. This young mermaid who has been brought up in life to only know one thing. He's scared of boats. He's scared of human things. And then his eyes get opened up by his friend, and his whole world changes. His entire life changes. And not only he changes the entire world. The entire world, because all of these people are afraid of these sea creatures, these sea monsters. Spoiler, the movie ends with him going to a human school. He is going to a human school. So as small of a movie as it is, it's a very important film because it doesn't just speak on what we can learn as people and judging and understanding and being okay with these things and those things. It also still has that Pixar magic to it. It's very enjoyable. It's very unique. And I really love, and I forget her name, but the friend, the young girl.
Julia.
What's her name?
Isn't it Julia?
Yeah,
it is. Julia.
Yeah.
I really love. I think Julia was a brilliantly written character. I also think her dad was amazing, and the cat was hilarious.
The mustache on the cat killed me.
I love, and I don't have a history with Italian history. I'm not Italian, but I can understand where Brian's coming from. The food, the look of it all, the way that they talk, the certain wording, the movements and everything. It screams Italian. And I also love the small villain role for that character too. Not in your face, but enough to be like, oh yeah, you hate that guy. You hate that guy.
Yeah, it's funny because every single time he started to get annoying, they took him away. And he disappeared for a little bit. And then he'd reappear kind of for a little bit. And then they take him away.
I didn't love his character. Like he seemed very, very one-dimensional. But they had to have somebody antagonizing them, right?
Yeah.
Like you have to. So it worked.
Yeah. And I love the fact that the my mom calls them nonies. The two old women at the end have been living among them the whole entire time.
That was cool. And I love that Jake brought that up. The ending is kind of the best because you start to see
the villain, Baby Borat.
Yeah.
Now the sea creatures and the humans are just coming together, and now they're gonna live simultaneously, like together. And I loved the artwork at the end when they showed like what happened afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that was great too. The way the artwork played into it, absolutely. The literal artwork, but the end credits, right? When they showed like stuff that happened afterwards, and then they show the dad under the water with the sea creatures, like just hanging out down there. So that was pretty cool.
I love the grandma. Yeah, I come here a couple times a week.
Yeah, she was great.
Never once did the grandma like agree with them.
She's the chillest grandma you can ever find. If I had and I do have a grandma like that, but if I had a grandma like that, like awesome.
You do.
Yeah, when he first came back and the mom was like, "Where were you?" And she was like, "I sent him out to." Well, the grandma said, "I sent him out to go get something for me," and he's like, "Yeah, grandma, I couldn't find it," and she covered for him. So that was
don't say surface. Don't say surface. Surface.
That was hilarious. This happens a lot. Once we start talking about a movie, I start to like it more.
Jacob is so typical. He's so just one note. He doesn't like the movie. Then we talk about it. He's like, okay, I love the movie.
No, so this happens a lot. Like once we start talking about a movie more, I start to like it more. But I still
digesting it.
I still wasn't like over the moon about this movie. Yeah. And I think I was expecting. I think Jake nailed it on the head with like it was very simple, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But I was expecting like some deep, complex idea like they did with Inside Out or with Soul. And to be fair, I never watched a trailer for this movie. So I didn't know.
I didn't watch a single thing.
I didn't know what it was about. all I knew, obviously, I knew there was a boy that can like come out of to the land and turns into human. That's it. That's all I knew.
Yeah, it was
So-
very simple but still really enjoyable. And by the way, I'm not putting this as like it's uptaking Toy Story or I'm trying to think what else is there. Like
I mean,
it is.
if it does for you, great, man.
What?
Yeah.
Up, Wally.
Well, no, I'm trying to
it's
Like, come on, spit
I
him
meant
out,
to
bro.
me. No, I meant to me, like what is like my top tiers.
Well,
Like,
you're saying you're not putting it at your favorite Pixar film.
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
it's not. It's not my
It could
favorite.
be.
No, it will not. Nothing. I don't think they could do anything that will
Well,
pass Toy Story.
I think I kind of had a similar connection with Coco because I do have Mexican heritage in my family, and so I think that's why I like Coco. And I tell you guys, every time I watch Coco, I like it more. So Brian,
Coco,
maybe you will.
yeah.
And
Maybe
also,
this
quick,
will surpass it.
quick note: I didn't know this going in. I had no idea. Again, like
Oh, you
Jake said,
really?
I
Oh, yeah,
didn't.
yeah, yeah.
So I didn't
So
watch
I'm-
the trailer or anything. I went in fresh, realizing that afterwards makes the movie that much better for me.
I knew Jacob Tremblay. I did not know.
Yeah,
Jack
I only
Dillon.
knew Jacob Tremblay. That was it. And
Yeah,
honestly,
I had no
knew
idea.
I
had
could
no
tell from his voice that it was Jacob
Hmm.
Tremblay.
Yeah, and yeah, I really enjoyed it. There's just so many things that I could like say like and relate it, just like you could with Coco.
The
It's just-
parents looking for him the whole time was funny to me.
Yes.
too,
When
on
the mom
land.
starts pushing the kids in water, amazing.
That was hilarious.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Like everything they did, water balloons, squirt gun, like everything was. It was just so funny, and I mean this. And see, this is what I would you say that they played stereotypes
No.
in the movie because they did, but they are not offensive ones. Like,
Well,
the
it's
fact
tough
that-
because there was only Italian characters in the movie,
Yeah,
so it
exactly.
wasn't like there were American characters and then the Italian characters were the villains. They were all Italian.
yeah. So like the fact that they had a giant contest and one of the things had to be eating pasta, like.
So wait, they're in freaking Italy.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like, that's one of the funny things that, like,
Oh, okay.
you're having
Okay,
this,
like-
like, it's a triathlon.
America does hot dogs because we're fat. They do pasta
Yeah.
because they eat pasta. Like,
No,
I'm
I
not
know,
gonna
but-
lie, I wanted some pasta after this movie.
Oh, I know.
Pasta.
I
I
want
know.
pasta from the dad.
How bad? That's what I was just about to say. How bad did you want to eat the dad's homemade pasta? But yeah, I will. Is it the best Pixar movie? No. Is it a really good Pixar movie? I would say yes.
Okay,
And
I'm
that-
gonna go on before we wrap up. I'll go on the table real quick. I'll start with Gio. See it, save it, or skip it.
See it. Especially, this is why you have Disney Plus. See it. Absolutely.
Brian,
absolutely see it. Why
Jake.
not?
Jacob.
100% see it, and I would love to watch this movie in the movie theaters. So if you can do that, do that.
I was in my own little personal theater. Just gonna say.
Brian, I will
I-
go with you to watch it in the theater if you want.
It's not playing. They are not playing it in the theaters.
Really?
Yeah, it's
Oh,
strictly for Disney
no.
Plus. That's other.
Well,
If
See
it
it.
was, I would have gone and see it in the theaters because it is
that makes sense.
one of the
That
most
makes
gorgeous things I've ever watched. Like, and I can only imagine like how Jake had the enhancements to go with it. So
4K TV, background lights. It was fire.
yeah, it was great.
All right, let's
I-
go ahead and shift gears because it is a all around the board. See it.
Pun intended.
Go watch.
Oh my god!
Not intentionally, but yes. But yes. Go watch Luca, everybody. But yes, let's get into our Fast and Furious talk, everybody. That's why you really are all here. We are an hour into the show, but this is going to be all worth it. But before we get to that, real quick, we do have a reveal. We do have a small reveal that we have to do. Our next watch along is taking place a week from today, everybody. It is taking place a week from today. There was a poll that was put up on our YouTube channel last week during last week's show when we revealed our picks. And there is an official winner. And I got to say, this poll went back and forth quite a bit as I was watching it over the week. I will go through the percentages real quick before revealing the ultimate winner. So we had one at 32%, 20%, 8%, 13%, and 27%.
I forget what I nominated.
So the winner was at 32%. So we had Zack Snyder's Justice League, Tropic Thunder, SWAT, Kick-Ass, and Atlantis, The Lost Empire. And the winner at 32% because you all glorious people are smart as hell, and that is Atlantis: The Lost Empire, baby.
No, my streak
wow.
ends.
Atlantis: The Lost Empire has won at 32%. We are celebrating this movie on its 20-year anniversary, and we'll be watching it next week right here at 7 o'clock Pacific on this show. Boom!
What were the percentage? 32?
32, 20 for Kick-Ass, 8 for SWAT, 27 for Tropic Thunder, and 13 for Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Interesting. I thought Justice League was going to win for sure.
So did I.
And that was my first time. I didn't know who won. So that's interesting.
This episode is all about family, sponsored by Family.
Yeah, I voted for my movie, but obviously it lost.
John Pierce, there is no recount. It easily won. Easily.
Recount.
Easily.
How many votes does it say?
No, it doesn't say. All right, so there it is, guys. Next week, we'll be watching Atlantis: The Lost Empire right here on this show. But let's go ahead and move forward to some Fast and Furious talk, guys. We're going to do a tier ranking like we did for Zack Snyder's films a few weeks ago. We're going to officially do a tier ranking of all 9 Fast and Furious movies. That includes Hobbs and Shaw.
Oh, yeah.
And so we'll be going through them one by one from the beginning until the very end, leading into Fast 9. And we will be reviewing Fast 9, not next week, but the week after. And we'll be talking about that movie. So let's go ahead and get into this, and we'll talk about it, and we'll go one by one through this tier ranking. This is going to be interesting, guys. I don't know if do we want to do it by release order? Want to start?
So are we going to make the rule that there needs to be at least 2 in each? Oh, no. At least, what? 1 in each.
I think there needs to be at least 1 in each.
Yeah, I think that's fair because then
At
we're going to
least one
force
in
a
each.
movie into one of them if we say
At least
2.
1 in each, yes.
Isn't there? There's no F? Why am I thinking there was an F?
No, there's no F because S is technically the A.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
all right. Do we want to start with just go in release order here?
Yeah, you might as well.
All right. So let's start with the original Fast, the Fast and the Furious.
So
The original.
I want to ask you guys, are we ranking these movies compared to just each other? So
Yes.
like,
Yes.
obviously we like, let's say whatever, we would put Apocalypse Now in S, right? But we're not saying if we put Fast 7 in S, we're not saying Fast 7 is as good as Apocalypse Now.
We are ranking it as a franchise,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
just as we did with Zack
The
Snyder.
hell are you doing, Jacob?
No, I'm just making it clear. Yeah.
All right. So the Fast and the Furious. I'll start. I think this is an S tier movie.
I agree.
I think this is S tier. This
The
is
first-
premier The Fast and the Furious for me.
Yeah.
I think it's the
agree
best
too.
one. Boom.
I don't disagree with you, Jake, on all accounts.
I think it's A. And the reason is because it's a little dated, okay? Like DVD players and like.
Well,
you
it came
know,
out in the early 2000s. Of course.
people complain about Fast and Furious 6 and the airstrip, but that first race, that's the longest quarter-mile race ever. Like,
Wait, Gio, do you live your life a quarter mile at a time?
I used to. And now,
Look,
Jacob.
no, I said S, and I was gonna lean A, but I'm deciding on S because I think it's my favorite one. And look, I'm not the biggest fan of this franchise. I like it a lot. I do have a connection with it because my brother, it's his favorite movie franchise. But the first one has a good place in my heart. So, and I watched it so many times as a kid. So S for me.
okay, we can go S. That's fine.
All right, so we have one end of the gate and we have one S tier movie. Okay. And again, these can all switch. Real quick before we move on, we did have a super chat that came through I wanted to get to. Mr. Johnny Quest himself. Looking forward to coming back and seeing the Fast and Furious rankings. Luca was great. For my F1 is my favorite. So many one-liners. I did hear F9 is super, you know what? You can rank at the bottom with Hobbs and Shaw. Oh. Boo you, Johnny.
Holy
Boo
moly,
you,
Hot
Ooh,
take.
okay.
Boo you.
Hot take.
Well, I hope these rankings aren't for you.
Well, we haven't seen F9 yet, but
Hot take.
well,
All right, let's move on. Too Fast, Too Furious. Who wants to start?
Me.
Okay.
That's D. I think this is one of the worst ones. and I saw it in theaters, and I remember it just being.
So fun fact, I've seen all these in theaters, but you think Too Fast, Too Furious is it the worst of the worst?
It's the one that I remember not liking the most.
Okay.
I'd go C because, I mean, it has the best car in all of the Fast and Furious movies, and that's Brian's Skyline.
Brian's Skyline is in fact the best car in all the movies.
Yes,
100% agreed.
Is that the silver one?
The GRX 70 Skyline, 100%. Gio, we're finally on the same page.
This is exactly why we didn't do car rankings, because I would have had to sit out, to be honest.
That was one of the options we were going to do tonight, guys.
No, that's what I'm saying. It was either this or the car.
I will say
rankings.
this: this is not the worst of the franchise. There is one that is 1,000% the worst of the franchise, and Too Fast, Too Furious is a C tier for me.
I go with C.
Brian, are you okay to give?
Yeah.
Come on, Brian. Eva Mendes.
I just don't.
Tyrese
I
and
just remember
Ludacris.
that movie being so. I could do with that.
It's not good, Brian. I agree with you, but there are maybe two that are worse than it,
And maybe the best Fast and Furious song.
Honestly, I will say this for me. I am
not.
not a good judge of character because I tend to mix these movies together. I'm not. So honestly, after Tokyo Drift, between 4 through 8, they pretty much blend together to me.
Well, speaking of Tokyo Drift,
S.
I mean,
No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I thought you were serious.
I'd give it an A.
I'm not going to give it an S, but I will argue an S because the Fast and the Furious movies were built on racing. They were built on racing. Okay. That we can talk about the heisting and all that type of stuff. The first movie was about drag racing. Okay. Living in life a quarter mile at a time, race wars, the whole 9.
How many times more are you going to say living life a quarter mile at a time?
I'm going to say a lot. Too Fast, Too Furious jumped on the heist train, right? There was a little racing, but it was all about the heist. They had to drive a certain amount of time to get what they needed. Tokyo Drift, no matter where it falls in the timeline, because we have no idea where it falls in the timeline. Justin Lin came in and recreated what the first movie was in drifting form. I love this movie.
I do too.
I love this movie. I think it's brilliant. I think that this movie is one of the best car movies we've ever had. But I will say this, in my personal rankings, it's number 3 on my list, not top 2.
I agree. I give it an A if I was being serious.
Yeah, I'd go A. I mean, drifting, you got the introduction of the Han character.
I personally like Lucas Black, by the way. I think he's actually not bad.
Yeah, Sean Boswell. He's cool. I mean, I could do without Bow Wow. I mean...
Oh, yeah. Take him out.
You guys are going to be so disappointed in me.
You think it's the worst one, huh, Jacob?
It is... It is one of the worst ones. I put it in D, easy.
Oh,
easy.
Man.
Bro, what about the
I do
Drift
like,
song?
all right, I'll say the racing is the only thing I like about it.
Bro, he drifts a Mustang, man. Like, come on.
So
he becomes DK. He's DK.
Here's what we
and
do.
And then Vin shows up at the end, man.
Here's what we do in these situations. This is a teacher's mental idea for you. There's always those kids that when you grade on a curve, you take the outliers out. There's 3 of them here, and there's that one kid right now.
Well,
there's an outlier.
We can't. And look, John agrees with you. John agrees with you.
I think, in my personal opinion, wait. So, Gio and Brian said A, and
I say A. I say A.
Oh, you guys all said
I
say A.
goes, yeah, it's A.
Okay,
I mean,
so it's up to you guys. I'll leave it up to you guys. I think, in my personal opinion, my D should drag it down to a B.
I kind of agree with him.
I'll leave it up to you guys.
As much as I hate
one of the best endings when Vin Diesel shows up at the end.
You ready, kid? Wait.
Hey.
You ready, kid? You ready, kid?
I heard he's been beating everybody all over Asia.
Han was family. One was found.
That was one of the best surprises in the movie theater.
I think B is fair. But
Yeah.
I do say this. If we get another B, it's top B. It's high B.
Oh, absolutely.
It's high B.
Okay.
If it's a
for
B-
sure, because it basically drags it down to like top B, like a B plus.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nah.
All right. I'll leave it there for now. Might change, but we'll see. All right. So let's move on to the fourth movie in the franchise, which to many is considered the kind of reboot-ish of the franchise. Brought Vin back, right? Brought Paul back. Brought Michelle Rodriguez back. It brought the crew back.
Jordana Brewster.
Jordana Brewster, excuse me. We got Giselle, played by Gal Gadot in this film.
That's right. Yeah.
We saw Han in the very beginning of the movie, knowing that he rolled with Vin. What do we say, guys? What? Yes, of course. What are we saying on this one?
I'd go C.
Yeah, I kind of agree.
I also
kind of agree, because there's a couple movies coming that are definitely higher than this one.
So Fast 4, or I guess
Which
they call
is
it
just titled Fast and Furious. It's just Fast and Furious.
Fast and Furious is the one I think I've only seen this one once. It's
So,
the one I'm
Jacob-
least familiar with. I was gonna go B because I think it's better than Too Fast, Too Furious, but we could consider Too Fast, Too Furious a lower C and this a higher C. So you all three say C, I say B, so I think it could be a C. I think that's fair.
I definitely think it's better than Too Fast, Too Furious.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh, yeah. Definitely better than Too Fast, Too Furious.
Okay, so we'll leave it there for now. But if one comes up, then we'll switch it around.
Yeah.
We'll switch it around.
I mean, Too Fast, Too Furious is my D, so yeah, definitely.
And it's not really memorable. Brian's right. It's not really memorable.
Well,
Yeah.
maybe that's why it's the one I remember least.
Yeah,
You
that's
know?
fair. That's fair.
But honestly, I remember though it kind of slightly brought the franchise back, and then 5 just
100%.
blew it up.
Dom got broken out of jail. Brian O'Connor was driving a Skyline again.
Yeah. Like people were like, "Hey, that wasn't bad. Like, let's make more of these."
The Baraka guy.
There was a terrible death at the end of the movie. I mean, there's not some bad stuff. Again, Justin Lin, he knows what he's doing. He knows what he's doing. All right, so let's talk about the one that really turned the Fast and the Furious franchise into what it is today. Fast 5. Again, Justin Lin directing, taking the film to Rio de Janeiro, is almost the Avengers Endgame of the Fast and Furious movies, bringing everything full circle with this whole entire crew. What are we thinking?
S 100% an S.
I go A.
Get the fuck out of here.
There's only
Go ahead.
one. All right,
Explain.
obviously I put the first one in S, right? There's only one other movie that belongs in S to me.
Brian Ward, you are not wrong. You are not wrong, Brian Ward. I will go S as well. That vault scene where they're driving the vault is amazing. And we got to see The Rock for the first time.
Okay, now that I think about like as far as comparing it in the movies in this franchise, it is pretty badass. I mean, I'm okay with an S. I'll go high A, but I'm okay with an S.
Correct me if I'm wrong. This is the one where Dom like jumps, smashes, and goes like across a bridge.
No,
That's 6.
That's Fast 6. That's Fast
Okay,
6.
gotcha.
This
Ryan,
one,
I'm with you. I don't remember which one.
They
that's
blur. They blur.
They do.
together.
Once The Rock comes in, it blurs
Yes.
together a little bit.
Yes.
This is to
Yeah.
many. This is the single best of the franchise.
Absolutely.
Well, this turned it into a blockbuster franchise.
100%. 100%. This movie rocks shit. This movie kills it.
I would put it probably in S because this is, yeah.
Guys, Vin Diesel and The Rock have a fight in this movie.
Yeah,
The
I
fight
mean, like,
come
between
on.
them, the introduction of Luke Hobbs and his special forces unit.
When they steal the cop cars,
oh yeah,
I mean, that scene.
Doesn't Dom smash like concrete with a sledgehammer or something at the
Hell
end?
yeah, he does.
this
Oh
is
my
Luke
goodness.
Evans appearing, huh?
No, this is the next one.
Oh God, I'm really remembering.
So The Rock is the villain in this movie, the antagonist in this movie.
The Rock is the antagonist in this movie. He's
This is before he teams up with them.
Yeah, he's part of a special force FBI unit that comes after them.
Okay.
And we also Gio, I'm blanking on his name. We get what's his name back from the first movie.
Oh, Vince.
Vince. We get Vince back.
Yeah.
Vince back in this movie.
The humor
so
between Don Omar and Tego, the song at the end, Danza Kuduro, I think is the name of the vault chase, the drive sequence.
The vault sequence is one of the coolest car things I've ever seen in my entire life.
The chase in the favela on the rooftops where Hobbs breaks through the window and Dom looks behind him. He's like, "Oh crap, this guy's for real." I mean, this is the one. This is the one that changed the franchise by putting The Rock in. That was the best move that this franchise could have made. Dare I say, it saved the franchise, because if we would have gotten another Fast and Furious 4, like 2 of them back to back, but The Rock added something. This is like the almost peak of Dwayne Johnson's stardom right here.
No, I mean, my original instinct was A, but you guys convinced me. I think it belongs in S in this franchise for sure.
Well, okay, so now the question becomes,
Jake doesn't even put it to
is it?
Wait, hold on though. We didn't say a limit. We didn't say there can only be 2.
No. But I'm saying, is it before the Fast and the Furious or after the Fast?
Before.
I say after, personally.
I say after.
Yeah, I say after.
Gio, you okay?
I'm out. I mean, I'm out. Numbered. Yeah, sure.
Okay. All right. Well, again, we can adjust towards the end if we need to. But all right, let's move on to the Fast and Furious 6. Here is where it got interesting. Luke Hobbs, played by Dwayne Johnson, recruits.
Yeah, please give us a reminder of the movie.
Luke Hobbs, played by Dwayne Johnson, recruits Dom's crew. We have Han, we have Giselle, we have Brian, we have Jordana Brewster, we have Tyrese, we have Luda, we have the whole crew, and they are going up against a rival crew that is incredibly good at what they do, led by Luke Evans. But they also have Michelle Rodriguez's Letty on their team, who has no more memory of who she is. The story focuses on that. Also focuses up against going in that crew who is trying to commit a giant heist around Europe. And it's all about that. And it's badass and awesome and full of craziness. Justin Lin directed this one as well. James Wan did 7. Justin Lin did this one as well. For me personally, I would probably say that this is
A.
I would probably say A tier. I'd probably
Luke
say
Evans, man.
Luke Evans is great. Luca, and he's related to a character that we find out is in the next movie as well. The Shaw family.
Mm-hmm. The Formula One looking cars
Which
that
awesome.
they can drive straight ahead, and
I'm okay with A because it's, in my opinion, it's better than Tokyo Drift, but not as good as the other 2.
So the cool thing about this movie is that it, for the first time in the entire franchise, gave us a rival team. In 6 movies in, it's the first time we saw a team that was actually capable of taking down Dom, Brian, Luda, all these people on their team, Han, Giselle, and we also got the death of Giselle in this film. And then the post-credits scene in this film is where we saw the death of Han in Tokyo Drift, and we learned about who Jason Statham was, who eventually was the villain in Furious 7.
By the way, Gal Gadot ain't dead. She coming back for sure.
Wow. So the couple dies in the same movie. They both die in the same movie.
No relationship.
Kind of, sort of. I mean, this is the first time that the Fast and Furious movies went full MCU.
Well, actually, Han didn't die. So
he didn't die. He died way before, technically.
Or never. We'll find out.
That's true.
This week.
But I say A. I say A personally.
I'm okay with that.
I'm also an A.
Yes, correct.
Brian, the expert on Fast 6.
100% correct. The runway was so long.
No,
so long.
This is the one where Dom gets on top of the hood on the freeway, crashes, jumps over to the other side, catches Letty mid-air, and then lands like nothing on another car.
Yep, that sounds right.
It's crazy. Oh, don't forget, Joe Taslim is in there, and he whoops both Han and Tyrese's ass, which was pretty funny. And Nobody really likes her now, but Gina Carano was also in this movie as well.
Yeah, she was just
yeah.
just as terrible an actress as she was now.
Yep.
Letty kick that ass.
Yep.
Letty kick that ass.
Hey, I liked her in this movie. She was cool.
No, she was terrible. Okay, all right, we'll go A.
Which one was Ronda Rousey in? 7?
The next one that we're going to be talking about right now. So Furious 7 is when Justin Lin stepped away from the franchise, did Star Trek Beyond. And this is where James Wan came in between his Conjuring run right before he did Aquaman. And this is the movie that also had the crazy production because in the middle of it, Paul Walker passed away in a car accident. One of the heart and souls of this franchise and one of my favorite actors personally. I still remember exactly where I was learning about this.
Me too.
And Paul Walker passed away and the production was shut down for a very, very long time. And his brothers came in to sub for him. And this is the first time we really saw the CGI face kind of coming into movies. Mm-hmm. Paul's face was dubbed onto their faces. And we got that incredibly chilling farewell to the Paul Walker character at the end of the film. But just a kind of refreshing of the movie, it takes place in Dubai. This is where we got the cars jumping between the two skyscrapers.
Yeah.
The film ended in LA. We saw The Rock with a giant machine gun in the center of LA.
I am the
shooting down a helicopter. This is where the movie went full jump over the shark.
Wait, this is the building to building, right?
Yeah.
This is the building to building with one of the most famous cars in the world, which is beautiful. And as Brian mentioned, we got the Michelle Rodriguez versus Ronda Rousey fight. Kurt Russell, yes, Brian Nussbaum, thank you. We got our first appearance of
Mr.
Kurt Russell in the film. We also got Natalie Emmanuel, who is now a mainstay in the franchise, ex-Game of Thrones actor, playing Ramsey. A whole lot of new material coming.
I want her to play Storm.
Yeah, she'd be an incredible choice. But what are we thinking for Furious 7, guys? And remember, cars can officially skydive.
I would go.
Oh, I forgot about that sequence, man.
I think I might be the only one who thinks this. I'll put it in S 100%. It might be my favorite other than the first one.
Whoa.
Wow.
I love this movie.
That's awesome.
And the ending, like, even if I thought the movie was an A, the ending puts it to an S for me. That's why I thought I might be the only one. But
I was thinking B.
And it's not just the emotion with Paul Walker that makes me do that. This movie is like one of the most fun for me, to be honest.
I'm going.
And we saw, sorry, Brian, we saw Vin Diesel and Jason Statham lightsaber fighting on top of a parking garage.
I would go A for this one.
But whatever you guys decide, maybe my S pulls it a little bit higher up. But I don't know.
He said something about the street always wins, and then he stomps, and then the parking garage falls.
Yeah. He said the street always wins, and the parking garage. He crushes the parking garage.
Yeah, he does. The parking garage. I mean, it's hard to argue against the S because of the circumstances, the production. They literally shut down for a year, and there was so much controversy about it should just stop. They shouldn't do it. They should just scrap it, and Universal actually considered it for a while before pushing it and giving everybody time, which is something the Warner Brothers needs to learn how to do. Anyways,
okay.
Anyways, I mean, for me, it's an A. It's an A. I mean, what keeps it from an S is that there are times where you can tell they didn't have Paul Walker. And they try their best with the editing. And then, it does stretch a little bit. This is where it really begins to stretch as far as the action sequences. I mean, I know we talked about 6 and Toretto jumping over a freeway and catching. But, I mean, this one...
Well, this is the first movie where each movie had a giant stunt.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, exactly. A giant stunt. So, for me, it's A. And don't forget, Tony Jaa was in this one too. I'm a big fan.
Oh, that's right. He got his ass kicked by Paul Walker. That's right.
Well, the second time, yeah.
So I will say this. Going into this, I would have given it an A, but for some idiotic reason, I blindly forgotten my emotional connection to this film because of the Paul Walker circumstance. As I mentioned, he was one of my favorite actors. I loved everything he did, as cheesy as it was sometimes. I thought he was
the Beatles.
Yeah, I mean,
no, I watched all his movies.
Hello,
Varsity Blues.
Varsity Blues. There's that movie with Jessica Alba where they were treasure hunting, and I'm forgetting the name at the moment.
Into the Blue, I think.
Into the Blue.
Yeah. No, me and my brothers loved all his movies. Yeah, Joyride too. Yeah.
I loved everything he did, and I remember I remember exactly where I was. I was with my best friend Christiane, who is a massive Fast and Furious fan. And I was in San Francisco. I was staying at her house that weekend. I drove to San Francisco to see this movie specifically. We went to the theater, and I remember the emotions in that theater as we were watching Paul Walker for the final time. So because of that, I do think that it could be given an S tier. I do think it can be given an S tier.
Brian?
I'm saying A. So we're split.
I mean, look, I would honestly look if I had to I would
Time Machine, Brian. Yes, Time Machine. Yes,
I would be fine with S. Okay, I don't think my gripe about the editing and the CGI would, I'd be okay with S. I mean, it made $1.5 billion.
Well, here's the thing, Brian. Are you okay giving it an S tier?
I'm okay with it. I'm just wondering, are we not doing you can't stack a tier?
I mean, if a movie deserves a tier, then we should put it in there, regardless of, it's just. I know which one's going to be D. I mean, but
I know we all know which one's going to be.
It's one of the worst.
I mean, arguably, you could
the worst things ever.
Just put it in the S tier for now.
So are we in agreement that it's 3 of S tier though?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think it has to be. If we're debating putting it in A, then yeah.
Okay. All right. We'll leave it there for now.
Just move that one up.
The next one, this is the worst of this movie is flat out fucking horrible.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. This movie is terrible.
Yeah. First
of all, the title, horrendous title. And the movie itself is just terrible. And you have The Rock, Charlize Theron, and wow.
This movie was ruined for me by Charlize Theron's hair. I literally, yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
MCU.
This is the one that you see at the knockoff in the bin that you grab and you go, oh, this looks like this. I mean, why waste time? Is anyone going higher than D?
I mean, I'd go C.
Oh
my God, no! It is not It is not better than Too Fast, Too Furious. I'm sorry.
I didn't. Say
The Rock. The Rock literally with his bare hands pushes a submarine torpedo out of the way.
Yep.
No. No.
I'm sorry. In Furious 7, Vin Diesel picks up a car. Like nothing.
Okay.
No, that is realistic because that car is made to be light, Gio.
Here's the thing. We have to have a D movie. Here's the thing. We have to have a D movie.
Well, I say D as well. I mean, I would put this and Tokyo Drift in D, but
this would be like an F++.
You can leave for your Tokyo Drift.
This would be like an F++, man. This movie is terrible. I'm gonna do a rewatch before we go see Fast 9. I'm not putting this on the list. That's how much I don't want to care about this movie.
So there are some decent things. I like that Shaw's working with them and stuff. I liked that part of it, but overall, I was disappointed. I already knew right away. My D's were Tokyo Drift and this, so I vote D.
You can get out of here with your take on.
Well,
I won't mention it again.
Not a D movie. So
I won't mention it again.
That's not happening. All right, where are we at? Are we putting this in D?
Yes.
Okay. All right, now this is where it gets interesting. The first spinoff of the series, Hobbs and Shaw, presented by the Fast and Furious. Terrible, terrible title. But I will say this. I fucking love this movie.
I do too. It's a pretty good movie.
Not
to mention Jake and I saw it in D-Box.
This movie rocks.
I saw it too with you guys.
This movie rocks. But I will say this, because we already have 3 in S tier, I will give it an A tier.
Wow, you would consider putting it at S? You love it that much? Oh my goodness. Wow. Like
Vanessa
like this
Kirby,
movie.
Vanessa Kirby murders. Idris Elba is badass. Hobbs and
Yes, he
Shaw,
is.
Dwayne and Jason Statham have the best chemistry on the planet. And Ryan Reynolds makes a quick appearance, and Keanu Reeves could be the bad guy for all we know.
And Kevin Hart also makes an appearance too. Don't forget that.
But in a good role, I will say.
No.
Is there such thing?
There's not such thing, but whatever.
Oh, I just remembered Cardi B's in Fast 9. Shit.
Yeah, that could ruin that movie for me.
I
Oh
heard
my
she's
God.
going to be a staple of the franchise.
She's already coming back. She's coming back for Fast 10 too, Gia.
Get the fuck out of here. I'm sorry.
Wait, really?
Yeah,
Yeah, they
she's
said
already
she-
announced it. She's coming
Wow,
back.
spoiler.
Why?
Now we know she survives or whatever. It doesn't matter with this franchise.
Anyway,
I'd rather
Hobbs and
have
Shaw.
Iggy,
Hobbs and
Iggy
Shaw.
Azalea or Ja Rule come back.
I was leaning B or C.
Ja Rule.
I
B
like
or
this movie. It's
C?
fun. Yeah, it's fun.
Oh no! See, I'm in between an A or a B.
I think I lean B
It's
with this one
It's guys.
because I like it more than I like it way more than Too Fast, Too Furious. So
like as I don't know. As a
All right,
Pacific
Gio, where
Islander,
you at?
I can appreciate the Samoa and the culture and the chant.
I'm
that they do.
surprised. I thought Gio liked this movie. I'm honestly.
So did I. So did I.
No, I mean, it's fine. Like, I mean, I Jake, you reminded me that Vanessa Kirby and Isa Gonzalez is in this movie as well.
Well,
and
I first of all, it's Isa Gonzalez, but that's
Isa.
Isa Gonzalez is in it for all about 30 seconds. Vanessa Kirby steals the film from Dwayne Johnson and Jason Statham. So boom.
I just love Jason Statham so much. Like he elevates this movie from like
Yeah,
a
you
C
said
to a
that.
B for me.
that
Oh,
scene where he's kicking the crap out of at the party scene at the very beginning, amazing.
I'm what you might call a champagne problem. Okay, I'll
He's-
go B. I'll go
He needs
B.
to do more comedy. He's
Guys,
hilarious.
this is an A movie.
You
It's
said
an
it was an
A.
F movie.
This is an A movie.
What
No,
else?
I'm-
happens in
I
this
go
movie
B.
that I could put it with an A.
B is what I'm comfortable with.
What's?
I'm not budging. This is A.
Okay, wait, hold on. So
But then you got The Rock holding a helicopter with a chain. It's just-
This is an A movie.
Gio, what were you saying? What was your first instinct to put it in,
well,
Gio?
first I said D, but then I had the Jacob effect where you start talking about the
Talking
movie
about
and I'm
it,
like, okay,
yeah.
like,
So I say B. Gio is kind of leaning towards C, I guess.
I'll go
I don't
B.
know. Yeah.
Brian,
Jake, you're a what?
He's an
A?
S.
This is A borderline S.
Oh, no. Jake wanted an A.
This
Yeah,
is
yeah.
A. This is A. This is an A movie, 100%.
But two of us are like not optimistic about it. I mean, I like it, but I don't know. What is that we have in A? Is that fast?
trying to
Brian,
find reasons.
Brian. I just want to say one line to you.
No, you want to know why? I'm having a hard time?
Hold on. I want to say one line that might tip the shoulders to you.
No,
Idris Elba literally says the line,
I'm Black Superman.
I
know.
am Black
Okay.
Superman. Let's go!
Here's the thing that's messing me up. Jacob fucked us by putting Tokyo Drift in a B. Okay? Because Tokyo Drift should be in an A. Because
We can still change some things around. Okay, Jacob, how about this? If we make Hobbs and Shaw a B, would you be okay with Tokyo Drift being an A?
we can't bribe through
No.
to get
That's what this is all about.
God,
So,
man, and these guys
if-
are in a fantasy football league together.
Well, hold on, Brian.
Yeah,
Just
you should be familiar
Off the
with how
bat, what's your
shady this
first
stuff is.
instinct to put it in, Brian? Off the bat.
My first, what I would ideally like is Tokyo Drift in that A, and then this behind
See,
it.
I think Hobbs
In
and
the
Shaw
A.
is way better than Tokyo Drift. So I would rather put Hobbs. I would rather allow Hobbs and Shaw to be an A. To be honest,
Ah!
If my only choice is to put But why do we have to move Tokyo Drift? I guess it's a negotiation, right?
It's
so
a negotiation.
So I'm okay putting Hobbs and Shaw in A because I would rather watch Hobbs and Shaw 10 times over than have to ever watch Tokyo Drift again.
I remember really, really liking this movie. And I'll put it like I said earlier, 4 through 8 blend together to me. This one I actually remember, so I'm thinking I might drop it in the A.
Let's go!
So we got 2 A's, a B, and what was yours, Jacob?
I said B.
Come on, baby.
But I'm saying if I would
You just dropped it in the C, Jake.
Okay.
if I have to move it, I'm not willing to allow Tokyo Drift to go to A. So if I'd rather allow Hobbs and Shaw be in A.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll do it for someone.
Let's go! Hell yeah!
Damn, Jake, I didn't know you liked the movie that much.
Oh, I love it. I love it so much. And because I hated the Fate of the Furious so much, I was like, burn that franchise to the ground, make Hobbs and Shaw the new franchise. That's what I wanted. That's what I wanted. So, well, there it is, ladies and gentlemen, our official tier list of the Fast and Furious franchise. I'll go and you can see it on screen, but I'll run through it. So at number 1 overall, we have the Fast.
Put it in presentation mode.
Oh, I didn't know that. I didn't realize there was presentation mode.
Nah, you gotta change Fast 5 and the Fast.
So there we go. No, we don't, Gio. Sorry. The first official movie in the Fast and Furious ranking is the original The Fast and the Furious, followed by the Fast 5. Excuse me, Fast 5, followed by Furious 7, followed by Fast and Furious 6, followed by Hobbs and Shaw presented by Fast and the Furious at number 5.
These titles, man.
And then at number 6, the Fast and the Furious Tokyo Drift, followed by Fast and Furious by number 7, with Too Fast, Too Furious at number 8, and the terrible, most forgotten movie of all time, The Fate of the Furious, coming in at number 9.
Hey, and is the new one called F9 the Fast Saga? Or am I tripping?
It is called that.
Okay. No. We can add that to this one day.
Seatbelts.
They honestly just need to just start calling him Fast and Furious 9, Fast and Furious 10, Fast.
Yeah,
and
they seriously
like FF8, FF9,
Yeah.
FF10.
Yeah,
We'll see. Man. Well, I don't know about you guys, but
real quick.
that is way more fun than a regular ranking.
I love the tier.
Me too.
This year makes it 20 years, right? Since the Fast and the Furious.
It's officially 20 years since the original. Yeah.
Wow.
I can't believe it. Who would have thought?
That's crazy.
Yeah.
These movies.
I didn't even realize that, to be honest.
So funny. Oh, man. I can't believe I love these tiers because of that very last movie having to barter and do stuff like that.
Yeah, it's cool negotiating where they should go and stuff.
Wow, today is the actual 20th anniversary.
Yeah, no, it was actually today.
Oh, literally today.
Yeah, it was actually today.
Oh,
yeah.
Awesome.
Wow. So
well, they released it the week of the new one the week of. So that's cool.
Who would have thought, man? Like you could still do so much, even though they said only 2 more movies. You could do like a
right. They're gonna make more.
Yeah, you could do Tyrese and Ludacris spinoff. I mean, I don't know who would watch that, but
no.
Tyrese needs to hurry up and die in one of these.
Tyrese should have died a long time ago.
Whoa.
Yeah. Sorry.
That's messed up.
The character in the movies.
Yes. No, not the person. The character.
Oh.
All he's there to do is just go and scream.
Yeah, they ruined his character because that's not Tyrese from Too Fast, Too Furious. That is not Tyrese from Too Fast, Too Furious.
See, Tyrese from Death Race. Yeah. See that?
Love that.
Yep.
Awesome. Well, I'm sure we'll be talking F9, the Fast Saga, next Tuesday.
No, it won't be next Tuesday. It'll be the week after because we're doing.
Wait, what's next week?
It's not just
along as next week.
Oh yeah.
It's not just the Snyder Cut that gets pushed back due to watch alongs, Gio. See, it's the Fast Saga as well.
Well, the Snyder Cut didn't get pushed back. Just
something got pushed back.
Zack Snyder himself got pushed.
Oh no! It was It was what's it called?
Zack
Didn't we talk about?
Snyder himself.
Oh
got it.
yeah. Okay. That's what I meant. Yeah, it was
I just
Army of
love-
the Dead though too, right?
Yeah.
Like we reviewed Army of the Dead that same episode.
I just love that the two arguably most favorited things of Geo, Zack Snyder and Fast and the Furious, are the ones.
I wouldn't say this is his second favorite franchise. I don't know about that.
It's up there, and I mean,
But you
I
like-
love this. What?
I
Well,
agree.
that's fair. That's fair because Zack Snyder is his own franchise to Geo/genre, and then Fast and Furious comes after it. So
Hey, Zack Snyder is his own genre. Okay.
I didn't say it was a good genre.
I would hurry up, Jacob. Hurry up.
I don't give him his own genre. That's
Catch us
absolutely-
tomorrow as we
Like-
break
yeah,
down
Like
Marvel.
Tarantino is his own
Loki.
genre. You
We
know,
will be here at 7:30.
Hey,
Tomorrow,
Zack
live
Snyder-
right here,
Zack-
everybody. We have Marvel Rewind.
Zack Snyder's Justice League is better than
You can find
Avengers
me
and
at
Avengers Age of Ultron.
that's a debate
At
for another
Volcano,
time. Why don't you send me an invite to
on
your show
Twitter
sometime, Gio?
and Instagram.
then I'll,
You got
I'm
access to
also
Trivia,
on-
buddy. Like
Show
I
has
said,
just
you
gone
hop
off
in
the
a
back
certain
and
point of view. And
all right, let's head out of here. Don't forget to check out, like they said, Marvel Rewind tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. Also, the Fandalorian Club this Friday at 4 p.m. Different time. There we go. I am Jacob Bartley. You can find me on Twitter at JakeBartley824. You can also find me on YouTube. I have 2 other YouTube channels. The First Round Fantasy Podcast, where we talk about fantasy football and the NFL. I also do a Power Rangers podcast called Off the Grid, where I talk Power Rangers comics and other stuff. I will be actually putting an episode out this week on Friday for anybody listening out there. Jake Berlin, where can they find you online, man?
You can find me on all socials at Qui-Gon Jake 2 wins because someone else took it before I did. You can also find me on the Schmodown After Show, A Certain Point of View. We are doing shows on Sundays. We also do reactions every match day. And if you're interested, if you never heard of it, if you're interested in movie trivia, it's a professional movie trivia league. It's called the Movie Trivia Schmodown. Check it out. I'm also doing the Whiskey Jedi, my own little fun podcast where I talk Star Wars and geek stuff that I really enjoy and drink whiskey and sometimes even beer, aka my Star Wars beer.
I need to
Nice.
try that. If you give me one. Gio Ramos Toretto, where can they find you online, man?
Please, I'm more Hobbs. You guys can find me on Twitter at Grey Goose Jedi. I also do Fandom United live every Sunday evening. That's my own YouTube channel. This past episode was on Father's Day, and I highlighted some great fathers in movies. So check that out. I'd appreciate your time and subscription.
Andy knows what's up. He's had it.
Oh, wow. I'm missing out.
Sorry, Gio.
And Brian, tell them where they can find your
Well, no,
7
real
other
quick. I want to
podcasts.
say, Gio, do you want me to update your logo, or are you just going to do it, Mr. Graphic Master?
I ain't no graphic master. Like I said, you do everyone else's graphics, and I'm taking the toll off your shoulders. Okay.
I never said I couldn't
mean-
do it.
Huh?
I never said I couldn't do it.
No, not at all. I just, I see you doing everyone else's, Mr. P. Diddy, and so I want to
Mr. P. Diddy.
because you're a producer, like on everyone's freaking show, and you're the master producer. But yeah, if you want to update the logo, please, I'd be open to doing it. So
I'll
There we
think.
go.
I'll think.
Brian, do you need any logos updated for your podcasts?
no, because you can
Oh.
find me wherever Jake is, which is on A Certain Point of View, and at Beta Volcano. Is that what it is? Yeah, Beta Volcano on Twitter and Instagram. I just realized that yesterday when I told you that I made them the same, they're actually different.
Oh my god,
So I might have to change that. But yeah, those
Jacob,
places.
you forgot to plug something.
Did I? What was that?
Don't you have something that's upcoming?
I did change it.
Oh my goodness. How could I forget? Wow, I'm an a-hole.
Proposing?
The return of Bartley and Barnes is coming this month at the end of the month.
whoa.
Our variety show. We're going to be talking movies, music, television, a bunch of other stuff. Jake is hearing this for the first time, but we're actually going to be discussing the Back to the Future trilogy. Wait, you're going to
discuss that without me?
Wow. He
No.
makes you a new logo and then
I-
doesn't invite
I
you.
am.
I'm just going to remove him now.
We're actually trying to get you as a guest, Jake. I have my
You
notes.
haven't reached out to my people yet.
Look, it says eyeing a Jake Berlin guest appearance in my notes. So I promise you we are. And the reason why we're doing that is because I watched Back to the Future 2 and 3 for the first time recently. So, and I've never seen them, and I really want to talk about that. So we will be discussing that. So I'm sure Jake will find time to come on and discuss.
Dude, that is a dope logo you got right there, man.
Well, you're blocking Jake.
Hey, Jacob. I mean, Jake, we need to update mine ASAP, man. I'll shoot you a couple $100 and you come up with something, bud. Like,
but wait, now you're blocking Jake's thing. But yeah, that Barley and Barnes logo is fire.
Also thank you to Mr. Brian Avalosino, by the way.
That is awesome.
Right
so, yes, Jake, I would love to have you on for that discussion. We'll be talking a bunch of other stuff. The NBA playoffs too. I'll
see if I can fit it in my schedule.
I decided, in my opinion, that LeBron is no longer the best player in the NBA. We'll be discussing who we think the best player in the NBA is.
Devin Booker.
On that show.
Did his team just get knocked out?
Not Devin Booker.
It's Devin Booker.
Yes. But anyways, check out us, Apocaflix, tomorrow. We'll be talking Loki.
Shows off.
We'll see you guys then.